Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome to my podcast, The Morning Mood. And hello, my moodies. I know you're out there. Glad you're listening. So, this is my third podcast on scale. I started my first podcast a couple podcasts ago and started talking about the three pillars of building for scale. And as part of that, I realized that I had a lot more to say about the topic. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper. So, what we are talking about today is the storytelling part of scale. When I originally started talking about this, we talked about 1A and 1B, which is clarity on what it is that you're trying to solve. What is it that you're trying to do? What is it? Be clear about it. What problem are you solving? What customer issue are you addressing? What business are you trying to build? What market deficiency are you addressing? What is it? Be clear about it. The other thing that you need to understand is where are you trying to get to? 5-year vision is ideal with the understanding that it gets real squishy the further out you get. But you need to have a North Star. Where are you trying to get to? Because if you don't, you will just build in circles. I've seen it. The second one I just finished recording is about flexibility. We went a bit into this on the first podcast, but I got deeper into it on the second podcast, focused just on flexibility. And what does that mean? That means being flexible about how, it means flexible about who, it means being flexible about what, it means staying open to feedback. What is it that your customer needs? We thought we knew what it was, but hey, they're telling us it's something different. When you stay flexible, when you're flexible in your tech builds, when you're flexible in your business processes, when you're flexible in how you're going to attack this monster, it enables you to adjust to the ever changing market conditions without stopping to rebuild. Flexibility is key. The other thing that is so important when you are building at scale. Now, I did mention that I feel like in the e-commerce world, these days of going from 0 to 50 million, which is what Andrew and I did in the first year, and then from 50 million to 11 billion, which Andrew and I and three engineers and uh, a couple business people did over a 4-year period. That's some damn scale. That's some scale. That's scale. I'm just going to say it. That's scale. So those opportunities, like to build an $11 billion business in less than 5 years, those are pretty slim these days. But in other industries, they are available, and these principles still apply. So, principle number 3 for building for scale: storytelling. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but here's the thing: when you're building for scale, it means you're probably building for something that hasn't happened yet, that your company has never experienced, that a lot of people probably aren't even sure it's gonna actually happen. A lot of people are probably like, "This is some bullshit, she's wasting my time." So an important part of that, and Tiana talks about this in her greatest lesson. If you haven't tuned into the Tiana and Kim Freedom series, you should do that. But Tiana talks about this in her greatest lesson, and that you can't do it alone. By the way, I have always known that I was a squirmy butt, but I did not know quite how much I squirm until I started recording myself. Also, I can't watch myself or listen to my own voice, so I don't really tune into my podcast. I actually have somebody spot check them for me because I can't listen to them. I don't know what it is. I don't even know how I got on that topic. But anyway, storytelling. You're building something that nobody believes in a lot of situations is going to even happen. Some people don't even want it to happen. You will have just haters who are like, she ain't ever going to get that. I'm not going to waste my time supporting it. You have to bring them along. That's the thing. You have to tell the story and you have to bring them along. And this came up as Andrew and I mentioned to you guys, he and I are reconnecting as part of getting ready to tell our Amazon Global story. And this is what came up. And Andrew said, "You know what, Kim, we could tell a damn good story." And he is right. We can tell a damn good story. But it's that power that allowed us to build fast and to build to scale because we were able to bring people with us. Storytelling isn't about lying or bullshitting or just blowing smoke up people's asses. Our storytelling was about this is why this matters. And this is why I need you to be a part of it and why I need your help. That's what storytelling is. That is what storytelling is. That is what Andrew and I were able to do every time we had to go talk to another tech team and we were like, hey, man, we need you to do this for us or pull this or hit this new table or we need to inject our code into your pipeline and this, that, or the other. All things that nobody wants to do. None. Nobody wants to do any of that crap. Nobody. Nobody wants to do that stuff, especially when they've got their own projects and goals and ambitions. They don't want to be interrupted. But we had to be able to influence people to help us because in our situation with the project that we were building, we were reliant on Andrew said 20. I don't know. He would know best, but 20 different tech teams to get our project going. I want to remind you again, 11 billion in less than 5 years. 20 tech teams. You get 20 tech teams on your side writing code for you. Let me tell you something. You are a storyteller of all storytellers. It was about bringing them along for the journey. It was about having them be part of it. So, back to my comment about flexibility, let me tell you something. When your approach is, hey, I need to have a meeting with you, have a meeting with you. Hi, we're having a meeting, and I am here to tell you that I need you to build all of this new shit for me for my program. And the reason you need to build it is because it's been approved by Jeff. That will shut a room down faster than anything. And people did it all the time at Amazon. And let me tell you, they shut me down. I'd be like, well, that's clever. When you have more of a reason for me to have a conversation with you besides Jeff said, because that's not a good enough reason. And Jeff will tell you that's not a good enough reason. We can have another conversation, but don't come in here and bullying me and telling me I have to do it because somebody said. And in our situation, Andrew and I had like one shot at this puppy, and we didn't have a lot of he said to weigh in on. We didn't have a lot of like Jeff said to make this happen. We did not. So what we had to do was bring people along for the ride. And that was part of being flexible. I'm not going to come in here and tell you what you have to do, but I will come in here and tell you what I need and why it's important and why I need it from you. Yeah, totally different conversation. In fact, it was a conversation. It wasn't a demand meeting, which is what those things normally turned out to be. These are my demands. It's what I need now. Go make it happen. No, our conversations were different. We're building this new microservice. We're trying to get this, that, or the other. We need this from your system. How can we get it? This is why it matters. This is what we're trying to build. There's where we are. Here's what our goals are. How can we help you? Storytelling, bringing people along. Again, I want to reiterate this isn't about blowing smoke up somebody's ass. This isn't like the false, oh, let's go have drinks or a coffee because I'm trying to get you on my side. This is genuinely sharing with people. And then when you have that flexibility that I keep going back to, open to the solution instead of dictating a solution, you make them part of the solution. You bring them along for the ride. Number one thing I've heard from engineers complain about business people. Number one, consistent across all industries that I've worked with all different kinds of engineers. I don't like her. Okay. It always starts with I don't like her or him. It's not gender specific, but let's go with a her. I don't like her. Why? Why don't you like her? She tells me what to do. Boom. Right there. She tells me what to do. That will shut down anyone who is good at their job in a second. It does to me. You come in here and tell me what I got to do. You better get the hell out of here unless you think you're an expert in my space, because you ain't. But if you tell me what you're trying to accomplish, if you tell me the problem that you have, I'll tell you how to solve it. I'll help you solve it. But don't come in here and tell me what I got to do because you probably don't actually know yourself. And that is the same thing that happens when business people go to engineers and they go, build this. And this is exactly what I want. You don't fucking know. Do you know how to code? Do you know how the architecture works? Do you know any of that stuff? No, you don't. You don't. What you need is an outcome. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. I need your help getting here. How do we get here? And how can I help you get this? This totally different conversation than go build this. This is when I need it. Yeah, blah, blah. You will get more out of the storytelling and bringing people along. And the other thing that will happen, and you're not going to believe me, you will actually get a better product. So I, I keep coming back to this, like the things that are surprising to people when I talk about building for scale and I do keynotes about building for scale is that these are not about being rigid. Because people often feel to build at scale, to move fast, to run fast, you have to be rigid. If you're running a marathon down the same road, you've been running the same road forever and ever and ever and ever, rigidity works, right? When you're repeating something that when you're into repetition, right? We're just repeating the same thing over and over again, rigidity works. When you're building for scale, you are almost always exploring. You don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. We don't know what happens when we get 200 countries. I have no idea. Did we expect that we'd be an $11 billion business in under 5 years? Oh, hell no. It was a total surprise to everybody. So when you're building for scale, when you're innovating to scale, you're exploring. Rigidity does not work because you do not know what you're going to run into. You don't know. You have to stay open and flexible. And you have to be open and flexible to the outcome and how you get to the outcome. This is specifically clearly what I need. I need this. This thing right here. I need it. How you get this to me, I don't really care necessarily. But what I really care about is that it has to be this. It has to be stable. It has to be reliable. And I have to be able to get it multiple times a second. How you get that to me, we can work on that. We can figure that out together. Here's why I need it. Here's how it's going to be used. Here's how it's going to affect the customer. Here's how it looks like downstream. When you open that conversation, when you start the storytelling and you bring them along, you get a better outcome. Because as part of that conversation, you almost always uncover something you didn't know. A dependency, a reliability, a latency, a just complete lack of something being there. Maybe a project that's coming up in 3 months is going to solve all of these problems if you can just hold on a minute. When you bring people along and you focus on telling the story and working together, you get better product. You get better outcomes. 100% guaranteed, all the time, never going to change. Not to be confused with the committee. That's totally different. If you've never heard this one before, a committee made a camel out of a horse. I'm not talking about committees, but I am talking about working with your partners and bringing them along for the ride. My own personal experience story, I'll tell you a couple. I'll tell you one because we're running out of time and I'm going to keep it to 20 minutes. And I think I've made my point, but I got a story for you that will kind of reiterate this. I ran international for Amazon. As you guys know, that means I was responsible for everything that crossed a border worldwide, import and export. I didn't ask for this. Trust me, I would not have applied for this job. But it's the job that appeared as Amazon grew, there was a need. And so I was there to fix it, fill it and make it better. And I built a lot of cool stuff. So at the time, while I was really stressed out and I kind of hated it, looking back, I do appreciate it. So anyway, often I would have people come to me telling me that they needed something. And because I was the only person in the company except for one other person, for many years. Now I'm sure there are a lot of people who have that experience, but when I was there, I was the only one except for Mike that had any knowledge in international at all. Amazon was not in the international cross-border game. They were not interested in the international cross-border game. It was not something that they were focused on. It was not part of their strategy. But people in the organization needed to move stuff across borders for a variety of reasons. Kindle came up. That was a big one that we worked on, moving servers around the world. All kinds of things move in big organizations cross border. And a lot of times, what happened was that I would be bought in late or after something went tits up because nobody bothered to ask what happens when you send servers to Singapore. And the demands would start. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. Your team, blah, blah, blah. What? You have to do this. You have to do this. 80% of the time, they were just fucking wrong about what needed to happen. What they needed to happen was they needed to get their servers out of customs lock. That's what they needed to happen. What they were telling me was what entry I needed to file, who I needed to call, how I needed to handle the situation. Back it up. You are not an international supply chain expert by any stretch of the imagination. If you had been, you wouldn't have exported servers to Singapore without asking anybody to fucking begin with. So back it up. You already fucked it up. Yeah. That's the reaction that you get when you go to engineers, when you go to people who are experts in their space and you tell them how to do it. Because you don't know. But what you need to do, those conversations, my conversations with other people were way different because they went like this. Hey, Kim, we got some servers stuck in Singapore and we need to get them out like yesterday. We talked to the carrier. We're not really sure what to do. This is what they said. How can you help us? Totally different conversation. Totally different conversation. You got the same outcome though. Rigidity does not work in innovation. You must be flexible. And part of that is bringing people along for the ride because you are likely building something that nobody has ever seen, that people don't even believe in, that they don't even think is possible, that it's just the dumbest idea in the world. When you are doing innovation at scale, when you're building highly scalable products, that's what you're up against. And your job is to bring them along, to tell them how it is possible, to help them believe and help them be part of the solution. You will get a better outcome. That is me on innovating and building to scale. As I said, in the e-commerce industry, those days of hyper growth, 11 billion in under 5 years, they're far and few between, but there are other industries out there that these same philosophies, these same pillars apply to. Clarity, scale, and growth. It's what it all started with from a company. To build with scale, you have to be clear about what you're trying to do and where you want to go in 5 years. You just have to know it's your North Star. You have to build with flexibility. You can't build for what you need in 6 months. That's why you got to know where you got to be in 5 years. You got to know where your campsite is. You got to hike to it. I'm trying to get to the top of the mountain. Got to set a goal or you won't go anywhere. And the third one is bringing people along on this journey because you are building something that has never been built before, that nobody has ever seen before, and they may not believe in it. So you're going to have to storytell. You're going to have to bring them along and let them be part of the solution. Bring them with you. Those are my 3 on building for scalability. I hope it helps. We'll talk tomorrow, my Moodies.